everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've never been here before. And today we're doing another hedgehog video. May is the month of hedgehog content. I don't know what this is. You're welcome. So I'm coming to the end of my very long requested video list about hedgehogs. That was very wordy. The end of my requested hedgehog videos list. Close? I don't know. Anyway, I'm coming to the end of that list. And if you guys have any other specific hedgehog content that you guys want to see, not just more hedgehog videos, because I don't know what that means, but if you have any specific requests, go ahead and leave them down below for me. Check out my hedgehog care playlist to make sure I haven't covered it already, because this whole month has been hedgehog videos. I've also done hedgehog videos for years now, so there's a lot of videos on that playlist, so check there first. But if you have any requests, leave them down below. So in today's video we are discussing heating. Now, I have done two other videos on heating. They're both very boring. I don't know that this one will be any more exciting. I apologize. However, it is an incredibly important topic because hedgehogs need to be properly heated. Hedgehogs need to be kept at 72 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 22 to 27 degrees Celsius. Hedgehogs need to be kept at this temperature continually so that they do not attempt to hibernate. If they're not properly heated, they can go into hibernation or attempt to go into hibernation, which can be lethal. I did a whole video on that. I will link it somewhere for you. Around, down, I don't know. It's also in my hedgehog care playlist if I forget to do that for some reason. If I forget to link you, it's in the playlist, I promise. I did do that video already, I think last year or 2 years ago. I don't remember. Sorry, I'm very wired right now. It's very late. But anyway, those two videos were a little bit more about my personal setup, and I wanted to talk to you guys about different methods you could use, or all of the methods you can use, and some of the things that aren't safe. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is my setup, and it is potentially the setup you guys are familiar with if you have viewed my other heating videos. I have a ceramic heat emitter, which is essentially a heat lamp that does not give off light. You cannot use standard heat lamps like those red bulbs. They will not work for a hedgehog. Hedgehogs are nocturnal and they need complete darkness at night. So you do not want them under a red lamp all night long. A ceramic heat emitter can be used 24/7 if necessary, and is perfectly safe for a hedgehog. The big thing with CHEs is I highly recommend, really for any type of heating, using a thermostat. It can be incredibly dangerous, particularly if you are not experienced with heating animals, to use any heating equipment without a thermostat. A thermostat will give you the peace of mind that you need to operate this equipment. I know a lot of people ask me about fire hazards and things like that. Using a thermostat is so much more reassuring. It will turn your heat lamp on when it needs to be turned on. It will turn it off when it needs to be turned off. A lot of people ask me if I use my heat lamp during the summer, and yes, I do. I leave it on the thermostat. If the actual lamp doesn't turn on, that's fine. But if for some reason that room ever got cold, my heat lamp would kick on because my thermostat is plugged in. I do not recommend using any form of heating without a thermostat. I can link down below the one I use. There are a ton of different thermostats made for reptiles and gardening and all kinds of stuff. The one I use is a little bit more on the expensive side. There are some called like the iPower, I think, or Jump Starts. Those also work, and they are a little bit more affordable. Regardless of what kind of thermostat you use, though, you need to be using a thermostat. You also need to be measuring the temperature inside of your cage. Again, regardless of what kind of heating you use, you can use actual thermometers with a probe, or you can use a heat gun. I use use both depending on the cage. The thermometer and the thermostat are not the same thing. I get a lot of comments of people that are confused by those. A thermometer only tells you what the temperature in the cage is, while a thermostat controls the temperature in the cage or controls the heating unit you are using. They're not the same thing, and you need both. Now, I will have links to my entire setup in the description, as well as my previous video that I did on my setup, so that you can see it in action, or I'll overlay some clips. Regardless, I will have all of the details of that down below so that I don't have to focus on them too much in this video. My other video gets far more into detail about ceramic heat emitters and how to use them and things like that. For those of you who do not want to use a heat lamp or ceramic heat emitter, there are essentially one option, maybe two, depending on the person. The main option is to use a space heater. I did use a space heater for like a year, and I had minimal issues. I don't want to say no issues, because in the summer I had to keep my room quite warm. I don't like living at the same temperature as my hedgehog personally. Some people have no issues with that. If you're one of those people, you could totally use a space heater in your room all year round. Or on another note, you can heat your house to the temperature your hedgehog needs, your whole house. Again, I don't like living at the temperature my hedgehog lives at. I do know some people who keep their homes at the temperature their hedgehog needs, and therefore they do not need a heat setup. If you're one of those people, I commend you, because I could not live at the same temperature as my hedgehog. I would roast. My room is like mildly warm right now because I turned my AC off, and I'm miserable. Now, a space heater, while it won't heat your entire home, it does heat your entire room. So I'm not a huge fan of that either, but it does work and many people use them with success, so it's totally a personal choice for you. If you're going to be using a space heater, I recommend you use a space heater, again, with a thermostat, usually a built-in one. When it comes to space heaters, built-in thermostats are great. That means that the space heater will kick on when it needs to and kick off when it needs to, so that the room is not overheating or underheating. You also have to make sure you are using a space heater appropriately. It cannot go inside of the cage. It cannot go super close to the cage. You can overheat your hedgehogs immensely. I don't recommend using space heaters without thermostats, because again, you can overheat your hedgehog so quickly. Hedgehogs do not do well when it's extremely hot or extremely cold. You have to watch for both ends of that spectrum. And an added bonus, if you are going to be going with a space heater, space heaters with built-in thermostats are fairly standard in 2019, unless you're going with like really dirt cheap space heaters. So you should be able to get a fairly affordable space heater with a built-in thermostat that will work for you. Again, this isn't my favorite heating option, but it's a lot safer than some of the other options that are out there. I already know a lot of people are going to ask me about heat pads, and I will tell you that on this channel, with this person right here, with me, I do not recommend heat pads for hedgehogs at all. They have been proven to burn hedgehogs because hedgehogs will not move if they overheat. They have also been proven to be less effective. Hedgehogs have been known to attempt to hibernate regardless of their heat pad, because the heat pad heats a section of the cage and usually doesn't heat the entire cage or the airflow above the cage floor. So when your hedgehog goes and gets up on its wheel or whatever, or just walks away from the heat pad, it's immediately cooling off. Some people have no issues with these things. I have a lot of issues with the idea that my hedgehog could potentially get hurt or get too cold because I choose to use a heat pad. So I don't recommend them on this channel. I think they're a poor fit for hedgehogs. Some animals do better with belly heat. Hedgehogs are just not one of them, in my opinion. They do significantly better with ambient heating. If you're going to gather anything from this video, it's that the only two real options I recommend are a ceramic heat emitter or a space heater and not much else. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below, and I'll be happy to answer whatever. Make sure to check out the links in the description if you're curious about my setup. And yeah, I think that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video, hopefully. Bye!
I'm a lonely, hard feline.
I take what's mine and I leave behind.